The next time someone says, "Oh my God," you know what you should do? "Oh my God."
There you go.
You should do that.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, that's true.
The next time somebody freaks out, freak out.
Are you? Are you? Oh my. Are you?
No, are you?
Are you?
Seriously, the next time someone does that, I want you to do that.
Okay.
Seriously.
So whoever it is, be
Whoever
warned.
it is, freak
Be
out.
warned.
Yeah. Freak out on them.
Yeah.
And then tell me what happens.
I will.
Yeah.
It'll be an experiment.
Hilary, welcome to Unmute the Voices. How are you?
Thank you. I'm good.
I can't believe you're here.
I'm here. You're here.
I'm here. I just can't tell you how grateful I am that you agreed to be on our show. Thank you.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you so much for the invite.
I'm trying to hold my composure because you're amazing.
Oh,
You are, girl, you are something. I mean, you, concert violinist, travel the world. You have an Avery Fisher Award. You have 3 Grammy Awards. You have just done it all. I mean, you are someone, your celebrity status is one that all professional musicians freak out over. Like, you are the Beyonce of violin.
Thank you. That's enough. That's enough. Thank you. I
Like we were just talking about like hula hooping and playing Paganini Caprice 24. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's some Beyonce level stuff.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's one skill at a time.
I mean, but you got all the skills though. I mean, last night, performed with Seattle Symphony, 2 encores after playing the Beethoven Concerto. That's Beyonce level.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Seriously, like, what goes through your mind when people, like, lose their minds over you? Like, one of our staff members is wearing a gown.
I love it.
Like,
I think gowns should be worn every day if you want to wear a gown. Like, do it. Sequins, go for it.
she wore it for you.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and just people bringing you
I think people
gifts.
should wear gowns to grocery stores. Like, this
What?
is my, so I think if you want to dress up, why are we waiting for special occasions? Like, if you have a plate you like to use it, don't save it. I just kind of feel like, yeah, because I get dressed up for concerts and I'm like, how cool would it be after the concert to just like go to get some like food at a fast food place, like in the gown, right? Just like show up. Why don't we do that?
Well, you know.
So I appreciate the style moment.
Well, you know, the last time I saw you was at the Grammy Awards a couple years ago, and you were wearing a gown.
Yeah.
And do you remember?
Yeah.
I took your shawl, and I
Yeah, thank you. I remember I was dealing with a lot of carrying a lot of stuff.
But you know, most people don't know this, but at the Grammy Awards, they have concession stands.
Yes.
So you are kind
That's
of
exactly it. You're walking around in all your black tie level finery, and then
getting a hot dog.
Yeah, like a popcorn. You're in line for popcorn. It's so funny. And then maybe there's no seating, so you're just, maybe there's seating in a certain area, but not for concessions. So then you're like, yeah, my feet are tired. I'm going to sit on the floor. So you're sitting on the floor in the gown, and then you get up. And it's like, I kind of think it's not so bad to dress up. So I appreciate that she's dressed up.
Yeah, she is. But I mean, but when people fangirl or fanboy over you, I mean, if like they're falling out like they saw Michael Jackson, right? They're crying, they've got all this paraphernalia, they're trying to get you to sign. Like, is that the moment you live for? Like, what goes through your mind when people are transformed by your artistry?
Well, I think when it's a fan moment, there are like a few things that are happening. The first thing is that they're not aware of themselves. If they're like surprised to see me somewhere, they're not, and they forget to introduce themselves. So I don't know who they are, and they're coming up to me like, "Are you? Are you?" I'm like, "Who are you?" But also, yes, probably, probably. And then sometimes people come up to me on the street, and I'm getting ready to have like a conversation with someone, and they're like, "Can you show me, here's my map, can you show me how to get to this place nearby?" And I'm like, "Oh, I feel really silly because I thought you were going to give me something to sign and you just need directions." So I just try to kind of like figure out what is happening right now.
Right.
And sometimes I am in the middle, like I have to go somewhere, so I can't stop and talk. But I always prefer, I don't really do photographs or signatures like out and about because I just want to have a conversation with someone.
Yeah.
So I just try to understand, who are you? What are you doing in this area? Do you play an instrument? What's your relationship to music? And just have a conversation, because I feel like that's more valuable than a thing. Or I also feel like when a lot of people encounter celebrities and want to have a picture, it's not really about either person at that point. It's more about, let's see if I can prove that I met this person, or I'm so excited I want to capture the moment. But you're so busy capturing the moment, there's no moment to actually capture. And so I really like having that conversation rather than that. Even though it's so nice to have a photo in the future, I just feel like it's even more valuable to have a conversation.
What type of moments are you particularly looking for with fans when they approach you?
I think just like let's approach each other as people rather than this sort of big disconnect in identity. So I just really like to know, because when I was a kid, I got to go backstage at the Baltimore Symphony a lot, and I really got to meet the soloists rather than just doing a signing, getting a program signed, because I knew some people in the admin and some people in the orchestra who would introduce me to the soloists. I also got to know chamber musicians and orchestra members, conductors as a little kid, and I think that talking with them, even in a very brief conversation, gave me a feel for what that profession was like, what kinds of people are doing what kinds of jobs, and how did they communicate, how did they chit-chat, all of that. I didn't realize that's what I was gaining, but that was something that I was gaining, and it was so valuable to me that I think that's the mode that I like to go into, because that's the mode that I got to experience for myself.
No, that makes total sense, and how those experiences when you were younger, you've been able to kind of bring them along and kind of morph into kind of your own identity, because you are a person, you're not a product, you're not a thing, you're not a robot, you're an individual. And so I really respect that, of wanting to know who the person is who you are interacting and engaging with.
Yeah, and people often forget to introduce themselves. And if they don't introduce themselves, I don't know who I'm talking to. So there's a level of, you may be very familiar with me, but maybe energy-wise I'm familiar with you, but I'm not familiar with like the basic, let's start at the beginning. Like, who are you? And it's not from a point of defensiveness or anything. It's more just like, it would be funny to meet someone in a room and not say who you are, but just meet them and talk about them. So I kind of just want to make sure that, because it is in music a relationship between the performer and the fan that is a back and forth exchange, it's nice to kind of remember that we're two people, and I am also a stranger in a way, and you're a stranger in a way, but we also know each other in a way. So how do we know each other? Where's the overlap? And that's what I try to get to if I meet someone who's excited.
Wow. I really appreciate you breaking that down. And so the next time I see you, I will say, hi.
You don't have to introduce yourself. I know you.
I'll make sure I shake your hand first. No, but that is really fascinating.
And I learned interesting things about people. Like, so there was this one time I got on the plane and I was seated, it was going to be a very long flight, and I sat down, and immediately the person next to me was like, oh my God. I'm like, hi. 9 hours together.
Wow.
Hi. But I found out that she was from, I think her family was Thai. She was coming back from her graduation ceremony, and her family had all flown in to go to her graduation and support her in her graduation. And her mom noticed that she hadn't slept on the prior flight, and so traded her seat with her daughter so that she could get some sleep. And I was like, let's make sure we both get some good rest, but let's talk through takeoff and all of that. And so she was a musician who was doing a dual major, and it was just really interesting to talk with her and learn her story. I think she was having like some stage fright, so I was like, oh, what's that like? And what does that do for your career and all of this? So
you know what?
Things like that. It was really interesting.
The next time someone says, oh my God, you know what you should do? Oh my God.
There you go.
You should do that.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, that's true.
The next time somebody freaks out, freak out.
Are you? Oh my. Are you?
No, are you?
Are you?
Seriously, the next time someone does that, I want you to do that.
Okay.
Seriously.
So whoever it is, be
Whoever
warned.
it is, freak
Be
out.
warned.
Yeah. Freak out on them.
Yeah.
And then tell me what happens.
I will.
Yeah.
It'll be an experiment.
So,
but I'll do it genuinely.
Yeah. Well, no, I want you to like go completely out.
But like I can't fake stuff, so I will just genuinely be very excited.
All right. Okay. So you're at a point, where we're both Gen Xers, that we're at that age where we have to start thinking about what the future looks like for us.
Yeah.
And our legacy. What do you want your legacy to be?
Well, it's interesting because I think in this field, age is a good thing. We want to gain knowledge, gain experience, gain age. And we get a more fluid working experience when we're older. So I think for me, that's been a really good thing to discover, to learn how to work with people when I was young, but then to realize as the decades have passed, I'm 45, so I'm like, okay, ideally I'm in the middle. But 45 years ago, I couldn't even hold my head up. So,
yeah.
Or 40, depending on the month you're talking about. But yeah, like I was just learning how to exist as a human being, completely dependent. And now I have all this knowledge and I've got time. Hopefully, that's what we all hope for if we're enjoying our lives. And so I think that for legacy, it's easy to think about legacy as like, I want to leave this thing behind when I'm no longer here. But I think for me in this field, I'm playing an instrument that has survived the lifespan of its maker. It's going to survive me. I play pieces that are going to survive me. And in a way, I'm part of so many other legacies that I don't think that much about mine as a separate thing from all that. I've also been recording for a really long time, so I'm used to thinking about the recordings surviving me.
Yeah.
So there's the legacy of that. There's a legacy of like everything that you share with someone, they take it further. And I guess there's a legacy of family. I have kids, so there's that. So I kind of feel like I've established some patterns that create legacy, but I'm also part of so many other people's legacies. So it's more like being part of a very long
Continuum.
line. Yes, part of a continuum. And it's hard to parse out what my particular thing is. I am starting to teach, so I guess there's something in that will be a new aspect for me as far as having a steady student who or students who I then work with for a few years and then stay connected with, or they are like, bye-bye.
Yeah.
But I know that maybe something
Yeah.
stuck in that whole process. So maybe that's a new thing that leads more to the thinking about legacy. But also just, I think the continuum for me is the really important thing, and not to stop the continuum, to share, like give, we say it, pay it forward.
Yeah.
Sort of to pay forward the things that were provided for me that were done as kindnesses and done as favors and sort of done in ways that you can't ask anyone to do and you can't organize people to do for you. It just has to be something that they offer and provide in terms of mentorship or advice. So just really making sure I don't like stop that momentum and I really take what people are kind enough to share with me and pass it on, maybe even like a little more spruced up if possible.
You're joining a class of very renowned musicians at the Juilliard School that starts this fall. Is there anything that you're nervous about or anxious or excited about in now joining the faculty and now starting to teach students?
Well, I think I really want to make sure if there's any impact I have on students in general, and this is a chance to be a little more specific about which students internalize it and which students don't vibe with this. And that's something I'm going to figure out with each individual student. But I really think it's important for students to think about the strengths that they have and where they fit the best in the field for what their natural patterns are, and then just run towards those strengths, run towards those natural connections, natural career path, sort of offshoots, or if you're in the mainstream, just like go. And I think that the idea of being kind to yourself when practicing, all of that, it's all about being in the most harmonic or resonant place within yourself so that you can thrive rather than seeming to thrive because you put yourself under pressure or someone else put you under pressure and you're afraid of failure. So you can succeed by being afraid of failure, but you're not going to really thrive in an organic way in that zone of success. Whereas if you are really in line with the direction you're going in, you can kind of do that very well. Like you can live in that space and have a balanced life and not be fighting yourself all the time. So I think that would be my goal, is to work with students to really find that early and also learn malleability as well, like learn that you're not going to be the same person for your whole life. So how do you then adapt to be that person without an identity crisis or with less of an identity crisis?
Yeah, that's really
crisis
important.
Isn't the worst thing in the world.
No.
Sometimes you gain something great out of a crisis, you know. But there are other ways to learn things.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's failure, right? And we've all experienced failure, and failure can sometimes be the greatest teacher. But
what about you for legacy? Like when you think of legacy, what is it? Like how do you define the term legacy?
You know, I think that's a great question. Back at me. I think I define legacy by how my actions impact others. Right? So am I, for like classical music education, is what I'm doing helping to better the lives of the collective, of people? And I think in my case, I am so passionate about students and people from underserved communities who don't have access to this music. And they don't have access because they either can't afford to go to a concert, or they don't feel welcome in the space, or they're afraid, or their own insecurities, or the misconceptions that classical music education has. I feel like the legacy I want to leave is removing those barriers to entry so that all people, regardless of what they look like, where they come from, how much money their parents make, where they go to school, where they work, everyone has access to this music because I love the music. I don't always love what comes with being in the industry,
Like the culture of the
the
industry.
culture,
Yeah.
I think can be enormously toxic.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I love the music, and my love outweighs any sort of reservations that I might have around the culture. And so my legacy, what I hope is that people feel like people fall in love with the music by experiencing any sort of interactions they have with me. That's what I want.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think that the difficulty of existing in a culture that doesn't feel good is that it takes the energy away from what you can offer. Because then you're just trying to like stabilize and orient. And it can be very disorienting. And if you have lack of access, you use all your energy trying to gain access, and then other people who have access are starting with fresh energy when they arrive at the scene. And I think that there's so much that people can offer if people can all have like the same amount of energy present for the actual work.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
just, it's really a shame that not everyone is working towards
Right.
that.
Because not everybody believes that everyone should have access, right? And that's why it's such a big deal that you're here, right? Because you're here at Key to Change, and our mission is to inspire underserved youth through world-class music instruction and to support their development as self-aware leaders. You're a world-class player who is going to hear students play after this interview. And there's people in our field who believe underserved communities should not have access to an artist like you.
I just think that's underserving the entire field then, because then you just have fewer people sharing their ideas and their creativity.
Right.
I think it's nice to have people's experiences that are not identical. It's nice to have that creativity present. And when you narrow access and when you narrow a field, you just lose out. Like the whole field will suffer because that's not the world we live in.
Right.
We live in a diverse, multicultural world, multi-generational, multi-linguistic, multi-perspective world. Like every room we walk into, unless we walk into curated rooms, will likely have someone who's very different from us. And if we only have a music scene or music that we play or music that, or musicians we work with that have a lot in common, then we are not reflecting the world we live in, which is so interesting because people are different. I think it's it's finding commonalities amongst people who have different things to say that is really fascinating in an artistic process. And I do really believe in multi-generational conversation, and that's one reason I like working with kids who are not at conservatory repertoire, conservatory performance, conservatory exam status yet, because I think also from being a parent, when I had my first kid, I do concerts like bring your own baby concerts. So it's for the parents. It's for the parents whose children are too tiny to easily arrange care for, to bring into concerts and all of this, but yet they love the concert experience, and everyone is better off if they can share it. It's just maybe for other concert goers, they don't know how to handle a baby being in the room. So we'll just let that situation be that situation. But then when you are a new parent and you have a tiny baby, that's when you need these things like music, like the things that refresh you, the things that bring you back to yourself, the things you love going to, you particularly need them then because everything has changed and you need moments to return to yourself. And when people bring their babies to those concerts, I cap it at 20 babies.
Yeah.
We only have like 3 crying at one time at most. Most of the time they're fine and happy because the parents are fine and happy, and the babies pick up on that, and it's just a nice experience. And I play the concert for the parents.
Wow.
So, but it's that way also with instruction, I think, to have students of different levels have access to people who are very experienced is really good. I remember a long time ago, the first time I did a little lesson with someone, I think she was the student of an orchestra member, and I was playing with more of a community orchestra at the time. And the teacher was like, oh, I have this student who's just passionate about playing. Would you listen to her? So I was like, I've never taught anyone in my life, but sure. And she was maybe 10, something like that. And she was saying how she just loves music so much, and she lives with her grandmother, and she really just comes home from school and she just plays and plays and plays and plays. And I realized somewhere in the conversation that there had been so much focus on technique for her that she hadn't learned about phrasing as an emotional outlet. And I was like, okay, let's open that up for you. I was like, do you know how to find a phrase? She said, no. I was like, a phrase is like a sentence. So if you were singing this, where would you end the phrase or the sentence? She was like, I don't know, here. I was like, what do you think? She said, here. So I was like, okay. So think about that. And now think about singing it, which is something I hated my teachers telling me when I was a kid. But I was like, this is good because she loves to sing. So let's think about singing. And she did it, and then she played it that way, and she was like, I love this. I'm going to do this every single day. And I was like, yay. And it just felt so good to be able to share something that I've worked so hard to learn how to do with someone who would really enjoy it. And then she doesn't have to go through all the trial and error to get herself to that point, like the hard way. She has like a little bit of a shortcut. And so I think the more we can provide students with those, like those shortcuts, again, the less energy they have to put in to that uphill climb, and the more they can just access their own voice even quicker. And so that's why I think it's really important. Like, I want to work with the students, I want to hear them play, because at every level there are things that you can find that you share in common and goals that you have in common. And it's just nice also when you work so hard to then get another perspective on it.
No, I totally agree with you. And I think one of the main reasons that students quit playing, especially when they're young, when they're first starting out, is they hate their sound. Right? The sound, like, it's the number one reason why kids quit playing, because you're asking a kid to play an instrument and they hate the sound, and
That's so interesting.
like, to get them to like do it for 15 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, are you crazy?
And then
like,
they listen to someone play who has nice sound.
and they're like, oh, I can't do that. And
Like,
so
I keep working. It's like if I tried to start gymnastics now, I feel like I keep trying to do a split. It's
well,
not.
wait a minute, you 45 though, Hilary.
I know. Like, why can't I do a back handspring? It's one of the most basic things. I can't do it.
Right, but like that's really interesting. Like, at least when I'm teaching students, especially if they come from an underserved community where I might be their only point of entry, right? Because of whatever barrier is there, that's the thing that I work on, is the sound, is getting kids to like fall in love with their sound, you know? And so I think, to your point of getting students to use their voices and singing and learning how to phrase, I think is definitely all under that umbrella.
I think in practice, if you're having a tough day, if you can just get one nice sounding note, that's a win. And I thought that for a long time. Like, if you're really frustrated, if you can just get like one open string, then you can call it a day, because then you feel like you're connected with your expression. It doesn't help you be ready for the next rehearsal, maybe, but at the same time, I think it's a win to get one beautiful note.
Does that bring you
Because
peace?
I think if you can get one sound that you feel good about, then you have this resonance within yourself, maybe, and you realize that, oh, I have something that I'm making that I find beautiful. And it's kind of also like I love to make things, but I've not been trained in art, but I love making things. So I can't, like, I was on a knitting spree for a while, but all I ever knitted was various types of rectangles that I would then sew together. Like, I would sew a rectangle into a square and then like sew the 3/4 and put it on my head. I'm like, I have a hat. I would sew like a long rectangle. I have a scarf, things like that. I mean, knit, but I really I like making things. And I think if I had a situation where someone was like, like the couple times I've taken a painting class, they teach me one little thing and I'm like, I can actually do something with it. And then I see that this technique, I can actually also do it, and I can express myself using this particular technique, and maybe I'm not going to become a professional painter out of it, but knowing how to do that, you feel like, oh,
It
maybe
brings you joy.
I am an artist in a way. Maybe another version of my life would have been that I would have been a visual artist, or whatever it is. Even if you don't become a professional musician, but you're taught how to make a beautiful sound, you know what it feels like to make a beautiful sound. So then you go and you listen to a concert, and you know when that instrument is playing, even if you don't play that piece, or you don't have that relationship to that instrument, or you're not a performer, you still can imagine what it feels like. Probably a lot like if you play soccer as a kid, or if you play basketball as a kid, then you go to a game, you're like, oh, I know what it feels like to be out of breath. I know what it feels like to try to do that thing and have it succeed or fail. And I think music is important. Music lessons and music instruction are important for that reason also, not just to play an instrument, but to understand the sounds of the world around us, and to understand working towards something and making something beautiful, even if it's just one note.
Unmute the Voices is sponsored by Key to Change Studio. Key to Change Studio is a violin and viola studio located in Renton, Washington, which allows middle and high school underserved students living in South King County an opportunity to take violin or viola lessons. For more information, visit their website at keytochangestudio.org. Now, back to Unmute the Voices. You have been more vocal about social justice in our country, and arguably one of the very few artists of your caliber who have spoken out against social injustices of people here in the country. I'm curious, was there an event, or were you just like, I'm tired of what's going on, I can't stay silent anymore? Like, what moment did you feel like, I've got to start speaking out against the injustices of people?
Well, I was always raised with stories of how injustice is wrong, and a very sort of narrow understanding of, I guess, American history, like the version that's in the textbooks. But growing up, I always knew the story that both sets of grandparents were from North Carolina. And so my dad was living, his parents were teachers. My grandfather was a math professor, and his mother, my grandmother, was a librarian, but also she got a master's in literature as a woman at Duke,
Wow.
right around the end of the war. And they were working in Virginia when the schools were ordered to integrate and refused when my dad was in school at that time, and they moved to Ohio so that they didn't have to deal with the insistence on segregated schools. And so my dad at 10, 11, something like that, moved to Ohio with a Southern accent, as he told it, like buck teeth, red hair, got made fun of incessantly. But they moved because of that situation as a white family, being very uncomfortable with that. And then my grandmother proceeded in her library job at a local high school to be sort of like a community organizer, like not necessarily for social justice events that I know of, but she would just see like who in school needs something, and she would try to bring people together. And so I think I just always heard that story, and I always heard about the civil rights movement, and I heard a very narrow slice of it, but I knew that there are times when you do something, like you don't accept what's there, and you go and you don't have to just go along with whatever it is. And I think just hearing that story kind of made me aware from a younger age than a lot of my contemporaries in my school district. And I had a very undiverse elementary school experience. So I just kind of think that the little bit of a seed was planted there of like truth of history and awareness. And then I went to Curtis, where it was a largely international population. So then when I was a kid, my violin teacher was Russian Jewish, had emigrated because of religious persecution. My piano teacher was Taiwanese. My ballet teacher was British. And so even up like from 5 to 10, I was in an more international setting. And then at Curtis, there were a lot of international students. So that's where I kind of became really happy in an environment with different languages, different religions, different, like people, my friends were people from all around the world. When I started traveling, then I was like, oh, this is why my friend does this. Everyone in this country does this thing.
Yeah.
And so that was really helpful. And then I think I thought that I had a very representative repertoire. I thought I had a diverse repertoire. But then I graduated from Curtis, and I realized when I played a piece by Jennifer Higdon, she was the first woman I'd ever played a piece by. And I was 19. And I started working with living composers first when I was like 17 or 18 with Edgar Meyer's Violin Concerto. For me, it's been step by step, just being aware, like seeing things that I didn't see before, thinking that I had a handle on things, and then realizing I had a huge gap in my repertoire. I had a huge gap of awareness, and I thought that I was being like really comprehensive in my repertoire. I mean, remember when I did the 27 Encores project? I looked at every list of composers I could find, and I listened to every piece of repertoire that I could find by those composers. And when I actually looked at the list, in the end, like my preliminary list of people that I really wanted to work with, and I did call them up, and I invited those people onto the project, I was like, there's only one woman on this list. How did that happen? And it was Jennifer Higdon, who I'd worked with before. And I had simply looked up living composers. And I was like, there are no Asian composers on this list. But I know so many Asian musicians. Like, how do we not have the Asian composers here? And there's no Australian or New Zealand composers on this list. And then I started opening it up. I had to look specifically for women composers, Asian composers, composers from Australia, and I did not look for Black composers. I did not look for composers from Africa or composers from, I looked for composers from India, because I was familiar with Indian classical music through Edgar Meyer. When he wrote the concerto, he sent me like all these albums of things that had inspired him. And if you listen to that concerto, you hear Ali Akbar Khan's influence and all of this. And I thought I just had this blind spot, and it was, you know, whether deliberate or cultural or through my training or whatever, I thought that I was making open-minded decisions. And then I realized it hit me like a ton of bricks when George Floyd was murdered, that I am not playing a repertoire that reflects what I believe in, and I'm not playing a repertoire that's inclusive or welcoming to musicians of color, composers of color, and that's not what I believe. So I need to do better. And I started really looking into why did I get into those patterns, and why did I think I was being open when I had this big gap in my awareness. And at that point I was like, I love this music I'm hearing. I love what these composers are writing. And this just isn't right. And it isn't right that I worked so hard to make sure that my repertoire was also representing queer people, and like I was thinking through like who do I know and what do I do and how does it all tie in, but I just did not. I was like, what? How? What? So I had to understand it. Yeah, it was very enlightening, and I had to also think through my projects, like how do I organize my projects? Am I organizing my projects so I'm getting input from different people, or am I organizing my project so I'm in an echo chamber? Who's on my team? When I'm looking for the photographers for my albums, who am I looking at? And I realized, all the names being proposed to me for photographers are white men. So, okay, let's start working with some women. Let's start working with some photographers who see the world through eyes that I want to see the world through as well. A photographer who is queer, a photographer who is non-binary, or someone who sees a woman differently, or more like I see a woman. Like someone who's gonna see who I am is gonna be a great photographer for a project. And where are those commonalities beyond the fact that we both work in the field and we're both known in the field? So I started looking at my projects that way, like who am I inviting in? Who am I listening to? Whose opinions am I seeking? And so I think that's when I started to get really frustrated with the situation that I had really made. I thought that I had made a lot of efforts, and I completely failed in a whole area, and I didn't even know it. And that just made me so frustrated. I was like, ugh. And now I need to fix that.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that more than you know. Sonia Massey was my cousin, my second cousin, and I've never talked about this on the show. But my cousin was murdered and became a national tragedy.
And I'm sure there was so much more to her.
Oh, so much more. She was my cousin Donna's only child. My cousin Donna lost her only child.
A whole human being.
A whole human being over something stupid, right?
I'm so sorry.
You're the only one who spoke up and spoke out against it. And, we've been in this business a long time. You've been in it longer than I have. But while our worlds are very different, I also feel like I've contributed a great deal to our industry. And you can't imagine the loneliness and my colleagues staying silent on my family member who was murdered for the whole world to see. And when you posted about it and spoke up about it, you have no idea how much more respect I gained for you. And I can't thank you enough for that. Because
I feel like that's the minimum. Like, to speak up about things
yeah,
that are
but in
wrong.
our field, people don't do that. And in our field, people turn a blind eye to police brutality, to the racial injustices, especially that Black people of color in this country face. And as I said at the top of the show, you didn't have to do it. And I gained so much more respect for you. And I felt like you did not just the right thing, but you showed me who you were as a human, the integrity, when our field just is so afraid to have those types of conversations. And so
I've never regretted saying something that I believe in.
yeah,
Like, even if it could be seen as, it should not be seen as risky or divisive.
right,
But even if it could be, I've really never regretted it, because I think that, how you, and I'm not saying that anyone should do something that they're not comfortable with, but we work in a field that is about emotion.
right,
And we work in a field where we're trying to reach people and connect with people in our playing, which is really abstract. And at a certain point, all of that's connected, especially as an American artist.
yeah,
I don't comment much on things that are in other countries,
sure,
because I know what it is to grow up in this country,
here,
in
yeah,
my own experience as a white person in the particular region and experience I had. I saw a lot of stuff I didn't realize I was seeing. So when I started to learn about it, I was like, oh, that's what that was.
Right.
Or like, that's why I did or did not experience this
Right.
thing. That's why I didn't hear about this thing that was happening at the same time. And as an American and as a person who works with human, like what makes us human, one thing is this emotional connection. One thing is the ability to make art. And there are a lot of other things that make us human, but like also the way human beings build community and the tribal nature of how people are in or out of that community. I just feel like music gives an opportunity to change that. And if we then are kind of doing everything in one zone and limiting ourselves in another, if we're trying to be universal in our playing, but we're being quiet about things that matter to people that we know, people that we work with, people we live in community with. You can't take up everything on yourself, but you do, I think, have a responsibility to your community, and that's not just the people that are always around you or the people that you grew up with or the people who look like you. It's like every aspect of what allows you to navigate the world the way you do.
yeah,
There's always going to be something bad that plays into your good. And I think you have to, it's important to see the truth of all of that. And I will never know what it's like to not be me.
yeah,
But I do know that for me, it makes me really mad when I see things that cut off access to places where people should be able to use their voice, where people can't show up as their full selves. When you can't show up as your full self, it is a slow death of the soul.
that's right.
And
right.
I just don't think anyone needs to be put through that when they have a voice that's valuable.
Right, right. Well,
So that's what makes me mad. When people are
yeah,
clamped down on and can't express themselves for no reason at all. It just makes me really mad. I think that there is a desire in humans to want to control how everyone else is, and that is antithetical to the expression of the self. And that, to me, is a really important thing in the health of an individual and the health of a community. Like, everyone benefits when people are free to express themselves.
Beautifully said. And like I said, you will always have my respect for that, because the courage that you had, or maybe just expressing your own self of your own values and beliefs, is something that I felt was not just the right thing, but very inspiring for other people as well to be able to do. And I think through your actions and your advocacy, you're literally unmuting the voices of others, because you're such a prolific figure in our business, and so
That is something I hope to contribute to a little bit, because when I'm working with students in master classes, I find it really interesting to work with students who feel uncomfortable being themselves and expressing themselves. Because I know what it is to go through those evolutions, and how wonderful it is to be able to then show up as your full self, flawed, and you know, shining anyway. You know.
I have some rapid fire questions for you, because you have another event here in a minute, and so here goes. Who do you fangirl out over? Like, who do you like? Oh my God! Who do you do that with?
I don't remember the actress's name, but she was in this. I have this one story where I was like, oh, I'm the weird fan now. So she was in this movie about Julia Child.
Oh yeah, the cook.
Yeah, she was playing Julia Child in the movie. And then I went to some event in LA. It was a theater benefit thing, and I was playing in it. And I saw her at the reception, and then I went, my mom was there with me, and then we went to like a local hotel, and I'd already fangirled over this poor actress, already at the one event. And then we landed in the same hotel bar after, and I kept like staring at her. I kept like, kind of like.
And she wanted an introduction.
I waved. I was like, and she was, ooh. Who are you?
That's hilarious.
And at that point, like by the fourth or fifth time that I caught her eye, I was like, this is too much. I can't be like this.
Oh my gosh.
I can't do this to her.
That'd be kind of cool seeing you fangirl out over someone. What's your cocktail of choice?
I love Tracy Chapman too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
she's
I had
great.
a chance to meet her at one point, and I just felt like I could not express enough how much her music had meant to me.
Wow.
So yeah, she would be my musical fangirl moment.
What's your favorite cocktail?
So when I'm on an airplane, it's a G&T, and then after a show, it's actually just like straight up a scotch, a peaty scotch.
Ooh, on the rocks? No.
With a drop of water.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay. All right. Beyonce or Rihanna?
Tracy Chapman.
Okay. Oh, okay. Tracy Chapman. Okay.
I mean,
all right.
I really like Rihanna, but I don't know like
you got
a lot of
Rihanna
her
vibe,
stuff.
though. You kind of have a
I just
Rihanna
really
vibe.
like her style. I like what I've heard her interviewing. I like the songs that I know of hers.
Yeah. Aaron Roseanne or Isaac Stern?
Oh, like playing wise or like?
Yeah, as an artist, like who?
I don't know either of their discographies all that much. I tended to listen more to Grumio, Milstein, Heifetz Elman, Chrysler.
Okay,
so I know the old players.
All right. Well, they're old though.
I mean, they're not around anymore.
Right. None of them
generation. But Roseanne taught at Curtis.
I know. He was. I studied with him.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And I saw one of his recitals once, and I never saw Isaac Stern live. And I was really impressed by Aaron Roseanne's recital. And then also, I know he was like, for some students, really a great match, and for some students, not.
He
so I don't know where you fell on that.
Yeah, I loved him.
On that spectrum. But he was definitely dedicated. So I feel like I saw him around more, so I tend to go more towards him.
Okay.
But Isaac Stern did see me backstage my Carnegie debut.
What?
Yeah, he was just walking down the hall, and he's like, "Go get him, kid." And I was so nervous before
Yeah,
that.
of course.
And
Yeah.
for him to say that, I was like, okay, all right, I have been knighted.
Wow, that's amazing.
So props to both of them for everything they did.
Yeah. Daytime or nighttime?
Nighttime.
Call or text?
Depends on the situation. I text more than I probably should. Text over email.
All right, red or blue?
Blue.
For anyone who is feeling stuck, confused, or just completely inspired, what would your final words for this show be to that person?
Don't judge yourself on a bad day.
Ooh.
What about you?
Watch this interview again of Hilary Hahn, the most inspiring living violinist in the world.
How about for you, though? I appreciate that.
All
But
right.
to listen to your voice.
All right. What would
you
I say? I would say, in the words of Leontine Price, yesterday's high C was just that, yesterday. Today's a new day.
That's great.
Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
What a treasure you are. Really.
You too.
Truly. Thank you.
I look
Thank
forward
you.
to meeting the students and
Yeah,
seeing what you've
me
got going
too.
on.
Me too.
I know that kind of thing's a labor of love.
Oh my God, I love it.
Yeah.
It's my life's work. It really is, and I love this music. I would say also, don't give up.
Mm-hmm.
Don't give up. Time is on our side, always. Thank
I
you.
agree. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Really, what an honor and a treat.
Thank you so much.
And thank you as well for joining this episode of Unmuted Voices. I'm Dr. Quinton Morris. Enjoy your day.